All right. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hello, Joe. Hello, Donna. I see all the hellos coming in. Keep them coming. It's great to see you all. This is our October seller check-in, and I'm loving this color. It's one of my favorites, so good job, team. And we're thrilled to be with you today. We have a packed agenda. My gosh, it's like the hottest ticket in town, these seller check-ins. Everybody from around the org is like, Marnie, can I get on the seller check-in? Can I get on the seller check-in? So we have a packed agenda for you. We'll go as quickly as we can, but we want to make sure we get you all the details you want. And then hopefully we'll have time for Q&A at the end. But of course, put your questions in the Q&A tab. We have folks live to answer them. And if we don't get to them, we will certainly send out an email after this check-in with all the answers to your questions. And there'll be a handy dandy poll at the end. So if you have time, stick around at the end to take our poll. So with that, I'm going to go quickly into the agenda. I'm thrilled to let you know that we have Hazel Mitchell here from customer service, also known as GCX, MSO. You've heard it called many different things, and we have certainly had quite a year as it pertains to our customer service organization. So she's going to kind of take you through how it's been going and where we're headed and how we're going to serve you, our customers, going forward. I'll give a few seller updates. And then actually we have a treat, a guest. We have our CTO here, Mazen, who's going to talk a little bit about our core platform technology. And, coming off of, in full transparency, coming off of the 25th anniversary and the issue we had with the third party that we outsourced to do the virtual live stream, I thought it was important actually that we share about our core technology and our core platform and how we monitor it, how we make sure it stays up, and how we've actually, as many of you know and have benefited from, seeing record traffic days pretty much every day this year, Black Friday every day. So he'll kind of share what we do, how we monitor, and how we prepare for the holiday season. So we're really excited to have Mazen here with us. We'll have Andrea go through holiday and how we're bringing traffic to the site for holiday. And then we have a returning champion, Bradford's here again to update us on the buyer experience and all the great work his team is doing. And then Jordan will close it out with a few updates on some exciting updates on our vertical strategy here in North America. So we have, like I said, a packed agenda. We're so excited to be here with all of you today. And let's get it going. So I'm going to hand it off to Hazel. Hazel, take it away.
Oh, thank you so much, Marnie. It's a great pleasure to be here today. Just to introduce myself, my name is Hazel Mitchell, and I've recently moved to lead the North America customer service team. Overall, from a customer service perspective, we exist to help serve you, to make sure that we're solving your problems in the quickest, simplest, easiest way possible. And certainly that hasn't been easy over the last couple of months since we were hit with COVID-19. That certainly presented really significant challenges for us in the way that we work. And just to talk a little bit about what that was and what that meant, I think initially we had to really focus on making sure that we were able to get our employees home and self-isolating with their families and friends and loved ones. But it was also really vital that we were able to get back online quickly to be able to provide support for you, our customers, at a time when you actually needed us most. So initially, we started to try and minimize any capacity loss that we would have had during that time by deploying a work from home model. I think at eBay, we were very lucky because from a GCX perspective, we already did have some teammates and some employees who worked from home, which meant that we had a playbook and we were able to actually use that playbook to actually move thousands of teammates to that work from home model in just a matter of days. But it certainly wasn't easy. It meant the whole eBay team working around the clock to make sure that we got people home with the right technology and the right infrastructure and the right support to be able to get set up and to be able to serve you. And it was an enormous change for many of our teammates. As well as that, I think even with that capacity, we still didn't have enough capacity. We really had to think differently around what were the solutions that we could accelerate, what were the strategic moves that we could move up from a timeline perspective, that we could speed up so that we could be available when you needed us and we were able to move quickly to do that. And some of those, sadly, we had to implement without being able to share the details proactively or being able to bring you on the journey with us. So what did that mean? What did we do? Over the last couple of months, we've really had to diversify our service model and our channel offering to make sure that you have the channels that you need the time you needed it most. We've introduced some new channels to be able to support you. We've introduced Chat, which is a brand new channel for North America, and it seems to be going quite well so far. We've also replaced our call me functionality with a have us call you functionality. And have us call you exists for almost all our customers with the exception of our merchant services customers. And this service you actually use by requesting a callback on our website. Now, one of the biggest benefits, I think, of this callback service is that we hold your place in the queue so that you can get on with other activities and you can get on with business until we give you a call back. So hopefully you're not feeling a delay of that. It also means that because you've logged into your account, we know who you are and you don't have to go through any authentication or identification process when we actually get through to you on the phone, which hopefully means that we're in a position to be able to get the solution to your issue really quickly and effectively. As well as some of those, diversifying channels and adding new capacity, we've invested a lot in additional resource. We've added considerable resource and capacity across our network to make sure that we're there. And that resource is coming up and online slowly but surely. And hopefully you're starting to feel some of the improvements. I think over the last couple of weeks, we've certainly felt an improvement in our service performance and the wait times are reducing. So please, be patient with us. We are improving. We're starting to see the average speed of answer reduce, and hopefully you're starting to feel that. So if you do need help, what's the easiest way? If we click on to the next page, please. With our new model, we'll ask you to start online with our help pages. If you log on to your account, you can select help and contact at the top of any of the eBay help pages, or you can type ebay.com/help. If you can't find the information that you need there, just scroll to the bottom of that page and you can select your preferred contact channel. If you prefer to self-help, we have launched a great tool last year, which is the Seller Help Tool, another great resource for our sellers. And this tool was a one-stop portal where hopefully you can go and get help to address all of the key issues that you face every day. That tool is designed to help you grow and manage your business with minimal friction. You can go there to manage refunds, items not received, returns. You can even submit requests there to have feedback or defects removed. In addition, you can also report buyers who are abusing eBay's policies. If you need help from there, there is also an easy path to customer service. But this is a tool that we're continuing to invest in, we're continuing to optimize and hopefully add features that will continue to reduce friction for you. If, like many, and I've seen a couple of comments come up, you're looking for support for the managed payments, there is ebay.com/sellerhelp/payments, where we have a dedicated payment team to support all queries. This is an area where we've been aggressively adding resources to match the increased demand that the program requires. You should be feeling a significant improvement in wait time over the last number of weeks, and that will really continue to improve as we add resource over the next couple of weeks. At the same time we're adding resource, we're also working really hard to fix bugs and to add additional enhancements so that you don't have to contact us at all. I think COVID-19 has been an extraordinary opportunity for us to learn and adapt and to do things in new and better ways. And while we've certainly had resource issues, please rest assured we are working really speedily to address any gaps in service that you may have recognized to date. And we're very, very committed to continuing to innovate our service model and to identify the very best way to support you. So any feedback, please make sure you let me know. And thank you again for the opportunity to chat with you today. Thanks, Marnie.
Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. All right, so I'm up again and I'm going to go super fast because I want to get to everybody else. But just a quick reminder and shout out that this month, the whole month of October, it is holiday marketing month, and we are still doing these themed months. And we have a great, great lineup for you guys. So if you haven't checked it out yet for the first 2 weeks, please do so. As always, you could find everything on, the podcast, on eBay for Business. Week 1 was why branding is important. And my favorite part of week 1 is that we had our one of our own employees who is actually a small business owner outside of eBay. She runs think it's ice cream, which is way cool. I don't think I would survive that business because I would eat all the merchandise. But why branding is important. How to build your brand. Tips and tricks. Obviously, what you could do on eBay, what you could do on social, things of that nature. Week 2 is all about holiday season. I know Andrea's been on the podcast. She's here today to talk to you a little bit about what eBay is doing. And then the last 2 weeks really focusing on on-site and off-site marketing. So on-site, right, as you all know, how and when to use all of the fabulous tools that Harry and team have built for all of you, kind of the tips and the tricks. And then, of course, off-site marketing, around EPN and how you can drive velocity and traffic to your own listings. So please check it out. There's always, I know so many of you are experts out there, but there's always new news, new nuggets to learn from and people to hear from. So please check it out this month. And then the big shipping update, which if you saw my Facebook post on Monday, I was just so excited. I couldn't wait to tell everybody. But we have done a great job. The shipping team has done a phenomenal job negotiating this holiday season, and peak season surcharges have been waived on eBay labels for UPS and FedEx, which is, as many of you know, pretty much, I think, unheard of. And we are really excited to bring that to you, our sellers, this year. USPS, this is the first time they have implemented a peak season surcharge. We obviously, a lot of you ship via USPS. So at this point, you have 3 very good choices this holiday season, which is, what we want for you and what we want for your buyers. But please check out, all of our great features and all the great benefits of the carriers. So it's really exciting that, peak season surcharge is something that I think we all dread each year. And I'm thrilled that FedEx and UPS came to the table and understand how important, our sellers are to us and to them. So that was it for me. I really don't want to take much more time. What I do want to do is hand it over and introduce you to Mazen, who will take you through what I find so fascinating about how we keep this whole ship afloat. So Mazen, please take it away.
Thank you. And this is my first time meeting our sellers. So first of all, it's a pleasure and honor to meet all of you guys. And I want to thank you for your business. It's absolutely, it's awesome to get to meet you guys. And my plan to actually start meeting our sellers more and more and just listen and see how we can provide a much better platform for them. So what my team does, I think we'll go through, maybe if we can go to the next slide. So core technology. So my team is responsible for the core technology and infrastructure that runs the foundation of eBay. If you think of how the ebay.com site runs, there's a massive infrastructure in the backend that enable the site to operate and run globally. And if I would summarize, our top priority are to make sure we build that platform to be highly available, highly reliable, highly secure for our customer to run their businesses on the site. So kind of just summarize what we do without going into dry details. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thought we share with you a little bit of some interesting and exciting metrics inside. I just want to draw your attention to one specific one, 79% clean energy. As we continue to scale our infrastructure footprint, it's computers, it's storage, it's network, it's data center all over the world, and we care about the environment. And we are 79% clean power, and we are on our goal and a trajectory to be 100% clean power by 2025. So that's important for us because we care about the environment. As we build our infrastructure, we keep that in mind as well. So it's one of our priorities. And you could see some awesome other metrics as you can read it. As we do everything, we have requirement for our availability of the site of 99.9% of uptime. What's that mean in reality is we only have 43 seconds a day of service disruption. If we have more than 43 seconds a day of service disruption, we miss our goal. And we have been meeting and exceeding our goals in the last 5 years. So I'm extremely proud of what we've done to deliver the best platform for our customers and our customers' businesses. Next slide, please. Also, we thought to share with you some fun metrics. Actually, I always get excited when I look at this, looking at our 4 big markets, US, Germany, London, and Australia. And it's fascinating to see the velocity of what happened in the site. A watch every 5 seconds sold on the US side, a pair of women's shoes every 9 seconds, and you can read it like games every 24 seconds in Germany and Australia. We get smartphone accessories every 5 seconds. So it's fun and exciting. That's what keeps us going when we see that velocity and what we can provide to our customers. It's just, we thought it's fun numbers to share with you guys. And I'm sure you guys are part of the businesses who enable us to do that. So thank you. Next slide, please. How we do that. So we thought to kind of show you what happened, what we call it in the sausage making room. Like, this is things we don't usually talk about. The pictures in the top, this is a picture of our command center, our site engineering center. We have 2 of them around the world. We run, that's where we monitor the site 24/7, 365 days a year, and no break, period, no break. But as you can see, usually the picture in the top will be vibrant with engineers and activity. Today, since COVID-19, we actually shifted. We only keep 1 person in that room, but the rest of the team, actually, we replicated that environment. As you see the pictures in the bottom, these are our engineers actually replicating our command center in their homes. And we adapted to the new world, and we make sure we continue to monitor the site and deal with any issues proactively before they impact the businesses that runs in EB. Just to give you a little bit of when you see all these monitors, actually we collect almost 8 million signals every second, and close to 1 billion event every minute. You know, of course, there's no human can go through that. We have artificial intelligence, we have AI in the back end, where the system very quickly runs it through them and flag if any of those signals or any of those events, excuse me, something we need to react to or something we need to do proactively before it becomes an issue for us. So we really pay a lot of attention to provide the best reliable environment for our customers. We thought to share this with you. It's fun, and so I'm proud of the team, how they adapted very quickly to the COVID-19 challenges. So completely transparent to our customers. Next slide, please. Also, to build on what I just shared with you earlier, we are a global company and we serve our customer around the globe. Therefore, we have infrastructures and data centers and point of presence all over the world, and we build them for resiliency. They are all run in active mode, and they all operate as backup of each other. As you can see, we have put these little dots. Each dot represent either a data center or a point of presence or an infrastructure point for us, and how we support our customers around the world and provide a consistent experience for them. One more slide, please. And maybe I want to end by, since we are up to the holiday season, what we've seen in the holiday season, an uptick on activity and traffic on the site between 20 to 30, 35%. So what we do usually, we are at the time where we run a lot of algorithms, we run a lot of capacity models, and we make sure we focus on providing the best environment for our customers. So we make sure the site is available and can handle all that influx of activity as it happens real time. And we leverage for that our eBay private cloud infrastructure that will allow us to flex our capacity up and down based on demand very rapidly without impacting our customers. And that's exactly what we deployed, completely transparent to our customer. As we hit the COVID-19, we've seen a massive uptick on activity on the site, really overnight. And we reacted to that very quickly, and we provided the platform that enable us to continue to provide that reliable and scalable environment for our customer. I'm extremely proud of what we do for our customer. In the end, it's all built around our customers, and we look forward to hear any feedback from you guys in any shape or form. I'm sure these kind of meetings are very insightful for me, and my commitment to our customers as my team's commitment. We will continue to provide the best reliable and scalable and secure platform for your businesses. And with that, I thought I'm trying to keep the time tight so we can allow everybody else to get their part. But again, thank you for your business, and it's a pleasure to meet all of you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mazen. Yeah, it's fascinating. I think, Jordan, you put in the chat, it's amazing to stand in those command centers. It's like Whew, it is unbelievable what happens across the globe and how quickly it happens and how we monitor it. It's quite amazing. So thank you. I thought that was I always learn something new from listening to Mazen, that's for sure. All right, so I think we're doing good on time. Thank you, everybody. Let's move on to Andrea Stairs to talk about how we are managing through the holiday season here at eBay. Andrea, you want to take it away?
Thanks, Marnie. Yeah, no, it's great to know that Mazen has made sure we're ready for traffic. And so now we need to sort of talk about how we're going to drive the traffic. Happy to give you guys a bit of a preview as to what holiday looks like for us this year. But before diving in, I just wanted to express my thanks. I think this is my second time speaking to this group, and I'm delighted to be here and just so inspired by all of the work that you're doing to power our marketplace, but also power the country. So wanted to say thank you as I start off, but let's dive in. Holiday is obviously an incredibly important time of year. I wanted to talk about a couple topics. One is some trends that we're seeing, predictions that we have for the holiday season, things for you to keep in mind as you're gearing up for holiday. I want to talk about sort of the what of holiday. So what are our key holiday moments that we're supporting and where are we leaning in? And then want to talk about sort of the how. How are we telling the story? What is the creative that we're using? How are we positioning ourselves in holiday 2020 versus how we've positioned ourselves in prior years? So if we go to the next slide, we can talk about some of the trends. So we know Christmas is going to happen on December 25th. The rest of holiday may look quite different than in prior years. Certainly the term unprecedented gets bandied about way too much, but this really is a very different environment that we're living in. We've got financial insecurity, which we know and we're seeing sort of day to day in our daily lives. Shelter in place restrictions change from moment to moment and place to place. We have the election happening smack dab in the middle of holiday, which will cause some churn likely. And so lots of dynamics that we're dealing with. And that sort of leads us to some predictions or trends that we have for the season. With COVID, as Mazen was talking about, we've seen a ramp in e-commerce volume, both on eBay and then more broadly. And we anticipate that e-commerce share of holiday will be much stronger this year than in prior years. In fact, surveys of buyers show that about 70% of buyers think that they're going to do more online shopping this year than in prior years. And even 65% of buyers think that they're going to spend more. So that is great for us, right? It's great for you, means that we all need to be ready. Supporting the local community is going to be a key theme. We've seen it all summer. We did a whole campaign around small business, both in terms of enabling small business, but also telling buyers why small business is such a core benefit of shopping on eBay, and really singing the praises of our small businesses. That will continue. And so this idea of supporting small business and supporting local communities is going to be a key trend. I think another is the timing of holiday. There's been sort of a narrative around longer ship times, around scarcity. It's going to mean that people are, and then there's a reticence to be in the malls, perhaps. So it all means that shopping is going to be more online, but it's also going to start earlier, which really means that we need to be ready. A survey that we did found that 80% of buyers anticipate starting their holiday shopping earlier this year than they did last year. I'm going to skip over the fourth one and go to the fifth one, which is around lockdown hobbies. Our behaviors have changed over the last 7 or 8 months. Baking, individual sports, investing in DIY to make your backyard and now you're inside of your home more sort of better because you're spending so much time there. All of these trends are going to continue. I think 60% of folks have taken on a new hobby during this COVID period, and 90% of people anticipate having that hobby continue through the end of the year. So any of those hobby-related areas will continue to be strong. And then coming back to the fourth box, we really feel like despite the COVID-19 fears, this idea of togetherness and connection is going to be a key theme through holiday. People are going to want to say more with their gift giving. And so you'll see that come through in our creative. So these are kind of the things that we're looking at. So what does that mean for you? Obviously, with financial insecurity, value and pricing is going to continue to be as important as ever, if not more so. With shopping starting earlier, that means we all need to be ready earlier. Glad that Mazen has our back, but we all need now to have, you know, the inventory and the traffic drivers ready. And we'll continue to focus on small, medium businesses, and so should you. You know, in the podcast, we talked about using social media to tell your story. I think anything that we can do to kind of bring that message through is going to be really positive for us all. So if I can go to the next slide, we can talk a little bit about some of the key holiday moments that we're going to be leaning into. So we generally start holiday with a C2C moment, encouraging consumer sellers to sell to fund their holiday. We will have a couple moments around getting the home ready. You know, that really leans into the trend that we've already seen around home being an important focus during COVID. So prep your home for Halloween and prep your home for Thanksgiving. We're going to put a spotlight on certified refurb, which gives us products that we think are really going to appeal to value-oriented customers, and is a way of really standing behind some great inventory and some great value. And then we'll have some more traditional moments, gift guides. Certainly Cyber 5 will continue to be incredibly important. That whole Cyber Week, Black Friday, Cyber Monday period will be really important. And so, you know, we'll have a deals focus there. So that's the what of holiday. In terms of the how, if we go to the next slide, we're going to be definitely talking about value and pricing and deals and inventory, but we're going to be complementing it with a bit more of an emotional perspective. You know, coming back to that slide a little bit earlier around togetherness and connection being really important. When we were doing our research and planning for 2020 holiday versus in other years, we really thought that what people were going to be doing is they're going to be staying more with their gifts. They haven't been spending as much time with their family and their loved ones. There's this feeling of disconnection. And so gift giving is going to take on more meaning this year, you know, versus maybe in prior years where it's a check the box kind of scenario. And so you'll really see that come through in the holiday creative. So it'll be selection and value, but also this kind of emotional reason to choose eBay and kind of layering on this greater purpose. And so with that, before I wrap up, I'll say thank you so much. And thank you again for everything that you're doing to get us all ready for holiday and to have an amazing holiday. I will ask Jason to press play on a video that is the first of a series for holiday that kind of gives you another sense of this combination of selection and kind of emotional connection. And I'll wish you a very happy holiday.
We've all got a lot to talk about this holiday. Thankfully, eBay has the gifts to do the talking for you. So you can say things like, "I love you, Dad," or "I miss spending time with you, Mom," or even, "Remember those weekends at Nana's house? On rainy afternoons, the whole house would smell delicious as she baked her famous cinnamon buns. We'd giggle through sticky mouthfuls until we couldn't eat another bite." Well, I saw this and thought of you. For those who mean a lot, eBay has the gifts that say a lot.
Thank you, Andrea. All right, I think I said it earlier, a returning champion. Bradford, please give us an update on the buyer experience.
Hi, everyone. That commercial made me a little sentimental. I was like, won't need to call my mom after this.
I know. Was it the socks in the oven? It must have been the socks in the oven.
Or it made me hungry. But hi, I'm really happy to be back. Hi, it's Bradford Shellhammer. And I'm the guy who leads the teams that build our experiences for our buyers. I spent a lot of time talking about buyers, talking to buyers, listening to buyers. And this is a nice change of pace for me to come and be in the audience of sellers. So much like what Mazen and Andrea said, I just want to thank you for your support and for really bringing our marketplace to life. Last time I was here, I told you I was going to share some new greatest hits that we've been releasing this summer, and I'm here to do that. But before I do that, I just wanted to ground the conversation again in just what is the strategy of my team. And it's really about this four-pronged approach to the reinvention of the eBay buying experience, which is around simplification of our experiences, cleaning up the clutter, and getting out of the way. modernizing the experiences, which means investing back into our technology that will allow better, more personalized, easier, and faster experiences. Personalizing the buyer experience so that we remove irrelevant content and start to show our buyers what they love, the themes of inventory they love, their favorite sellers, etc. And then lastly, which I'm excited that Jordan's coming on after me because he's going to talk about this theme specifically, some big news this week, is around how do we verticalize eBay, meaning how do we make someone who's a deal hunter and someone who collects $2,000 watches and someone who is rebuilding a vintage car, how do they have different experiences where it makes sense? Because right now it's way too one size fits all. So with that said, here's some cool stuff that's either in the works or have recently released. And the next slide, actually I lied. Before I do that, within each of those 4 themes, we wrote what we call initiatives, but these are basically our yearly plans. 2 of the plans that we authored last year was really about making eBay easier and making our app way better. And so you're going to see some product work and features that we're launching that ladder into these themes. So next slide. This should be super exciting for everyone. So our CEO at our last earnings, Jamie, said, you know, we haven't done enough for sellers, especially in stores. And so we are reinventing the stores experience currently as we speak. When I was here last time, I talked about we built stores capabilities finally in our native apps. Marnie, native app means our Apple and our Android apps. So sorry, I'm using lingo, eBay lingo. But so now that we have stores in our native app experiences, they need to be better. And so this is fresh paint, still being worked on, but you're going to see in the next 2 slides kind of the vision for where our stores experience is headed likely. I'll call out that way more visual emphasis on your brand and who you are, including your founded, social links, direct ways to save your inventory into our customers' feeds, as well as just a lot of more visual merchandising capabilities, either hero imagery, videos that you've shot, or merchandising great products. Just know that we are not doing a good job here. We have spun off a whole new organization to reinvent stores, and this is what's coming soon. Next slide. Is also just, again, it's more than just creating a shopping experience. We also want to start to tell our seller stories way better. The erasure of the seller in parts of our experience is really unfortunate. And the buying team actually believes that celebrating this concept of the seller, the brand, small businesses, brick and mortar stores, and talking about their history and heritage, and the successful transactions and the reviews of your businesses are really important for buyers to make sense of like inventory on eBay and to feel trust in our marketplace. So know that we're going to be telling your story more thoughtfully in the buyer experience throughout the year next year. Next. Okay, now we get to some cool stuff. And again, Jordan's going to talk about this a little bit more, so I won't steal all of his thunder, but we are starting to manage our marketplace a little bit more. And one of the ways that we're going to manage the marketplace is for luxury products. Think sneakers over $100 or watches over $2,000. Our buyers tell us that the #1 thing they care about is authenticity. And they want to trust that eBay has their back. Our selling community tells us they want to be protected from people sending back rocks in a box and us siding with the buyer. So one way that we're combating this with certain sets of inventory, and we've launched watches now, and Jordan's going to talk about our sneakers launch, is we are intermediating the purchase. And we are going to have a third-party authentication service verify that indeed this Rolex that I bought on eBay is a Rolex, and its paperwork is correct, and it takes time, and it has the right amount of links in its band. And so know that for some of our enthusiast and customer bases that have specific needs, specifically around authenticity, we've launched a new program that basically we're getting in the way and stepping up and saying, we're going to own this, and we're going to guarantee that this is real for the buyer, and we have your back seller if the buyer is trying to do something shady. Next. As part of a fast follow that's about to happen for that launch, oftentimes it's really hard to buy something that's super expensive on eBay. Credit card declines, PayPal approvals. There's a myriad of reasons why it's super hard to buy something that's that costs a lot. And for many transactions of things over $10,000, like the norm is to do bank transfers or escrow payments, et cetera. And so we're going to really be pushing on different ways to pay for things. Obviously, you know about Payments 2.0 and our Managed Payments initiative, but we have for this fall partnered with escrow.com to take escrow payments in the watches category over $10,000. This is going to be something that we're going to learn from and see how it evolves. But essentially, we want to protect, again, the buyer and the seller in this transaction, and this is a new way of paying on eBay. Next. Search continues to evolve. You know, everybody knows search is where the magic happens. If you can't find, you know, that's where the sales happen. We call it in the river. But it's painful sometimes to see how search hasn't evolved as fast as it could have been. And we're really making an effort to reinvent search. And one of the ways that we've been on a push, as you know, as sellers, to get more aspects and more item details in our listings. But we also need to be able to let our buyers use them and filter and sort those aspects and item specifics more easily. And so here's an example of just a modern search experience that has now launched officially in our native experiences, our apps, including new filter panels, personalizing some of the experience, allowing lockable filters for people that do the same searches over and over again, a more visualized view of pricing. So you can get to the stuff that you're looking for as a buyer, and even explaining things like eBay language, buying format. You know, in any other marketplace, what the heck does that mean? And it used to be just buried. Now you see an example in the second phone here of buying format, because we have auction, buy it now, make an offer, all listings. We're actually just up leveling that so people can it explains it more clearly. Next. And then lastly, I'll show you some things we're doing to make eBay more relevant. This is our work around personalization. Next slide. Great thing that we've launched and we're continuing to build on is what I like to call snackable messages. But imagine there's a slew of really like actionable things that eBay tells you sometimes. One is a seller's made an offer. The second is you've actually but you need to pay something. You've been paid. You have to ship something, or you've been outbid on an auction, or you have a counter offer and an offer flow. Oftentimes those kind of communications are buried in emails or within my eBay. And so we have now on front and center in the homepage a new module, which will have these little, again, this isn't like us trying to sell you something as a buyer. This is more either as a buyer or seller. You have to do this right now. You've been outbid. You should ship this, or you have an offer. And so you're going to see us do more and more of these little snackable messages. My team calls them inline notifications, but think of them as just little things to do right now that are really important. Next. Saves is my favorite thing at eBay, either saving a seller. When you find a seller that has awesome inventory, you want to know when they have new inventory. Saving a seller is an automatic way to do that. It populates parts of my eBay, the homepage, and your email experiences with sellers' new inventory, as well as save searches. If you're looking for something specific and we don't have it, or you just have a general interest in something, you can save the topic. It is a huge driver of our revenue, and it's something that's like instant personalization. we have this thing called the feed, which is a visual graph of the seller's inventory and the saved search inventory that you have. This is literally my feed on the left. This is the guy, Jonathan, that works for me on the right. So you can see how very different people who shop eBay's styles are. But we're going to be bringing this more front and center into the experiences specifically for our customers who have saved stuff. So that more of that is coming, and so be on the look for that. Next. And as I said before, the concept of a seller is something we think is important from a trust standpoint for eBay for our buyers. And so here's lots of new things that we've been releasing lately that are all about how to surface sellers in the buying experience. We have a new algorithm that's recommending sellers on the homepage, and we have a tooltip that is actually encouraging customers to save them. So not only were you saying, hey, here's a seller that based on your shopping behavior has great inventory for your interests, but you also should save them and get notifications. So we're going to see a huge adoption of new saved sellers as a result of this. We're going to be linking to stores on our native experiences from the view item page. As I said before, we built stores on native, but we haven't really cracked the traffic into the stores. This is the first big step to drive traffic into stores on our native experiences. And lastly, if someone has saved you as a seller in our experiences and someone starts typing your seller name or your store name into our search bar, now we are going to show your name as an auto default there as a quick link into your store. So that is a super awesome win, we think. And that's for both small sellers and big brands, like you see Adidas here, but you don't have to be Adidas to qualify for this. It's all sellers qualify for this. And next. And then, as we talked about, the verticalization and the watch customer and the sneaker customer, do know that we're going to be really focusing on enthusiast browsing behavior of vertical specific shopping intent. So we know for a fact that there are people that love vintage fashion. There are people who are all about deals. There are people who care about cars and motors and restoring the cars that they own. And there are people that are just enthusiast streetwear customers who buy vinyl records and music and fast streetwear fashion and sneakers. We want to not only, we basically want them to feel like they walked into either a vintage fashion or a deal store and remove the clutter and irrelevant content. So you're going to see more and more work in next year of us having more immersive, verticalized experiences for our customers. And here are some examples of where we're headed. And next. I'm going to end with this. Again, if someone asks, what's Bradford's team do? These are the 4 words to remember: simplify, modernize, personalize, verticalize. If you find something that we've done or something that's not working or doesn't fit within that strategy, my email is bradford@ebay. Send me an email and I'll either tell you I'm working on it, hopefully, or fix it. But thanks for having me. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks. And over to Jordan.
Well, first, before Jordan, Bradford, thank you. 2 things.
Sorry.
One is
Back to Marnie.
No, just because I can't get enough of this. I love the brand, the seller's brand in search. That's that one. And 2 is you'll have to tell me how much Harry paid you to say item specifics, but we'll talk about that offline. So now on to Jordan to close us out.
Thanks, Marnie. I was just checking to see how many saved sellers I have. It's I have 51 saved sellers, and like most of them are plant sellers or self-representing artists, because like it's just like artists, at least what I've seen, tend to like paint in spurts, or like they're selling other channels, and seasonally they bring it on eBay, and so my saved seller emails will be kind of repetitive for a while, and there'll be like amazing selection of them. But Bradford, I love having that in autocomplete. Like that's really cool. So I don't know, awesome stuff. So I will stay on time so I don't get in trouble from Marnie, and so that we have time for Q&A. So what's going on? So this week we announced that we were going to start authenticating sneakers. So obviously Bradford talked about that. We're going to authenticate sneakers over $100 in the US. We're going to start ramping up soon. Awesome questions in the chat around, when are we going to get to saddles, and is this going to come to art? So I think the answer is, and Bradford touched on this, when people are shopping in these categories, they want to shop worry-free as a buyer. And that means it isn't just about authentication. It can also just be about verification. Like, are buyers getting what they want? And I will tell you in all candor, we've been live in watches now a little over a month. We've authenticated thousands of watches. We've had 2 empty box returns. And so I know you all experience that as sellers. Those sellers who sold those watches were totally protected. They don't even know that like they would have received an empty box return. We had one item that was used by someone incorrectly. They took a vintage watch and I think went swimming with it, and they are not meant to go swimming, and the watch was destroyed and they tried to return it. We rejected that return on behalf of the seller and protected them. And so we will take this into other categories, but I will continue to ask for your patience because these things take time. We will be able to authenticate close to 2 million sneakers per year by the end of December, and that still won't be enough to meet the demand of what's going on in the space. And so it's going to take us time to make sure that we are nailing the customer expectation in watches and sneakers. And then we will bring it to other categories. Donna, I cannot promise you that we will be in a position to do saddles by January 1st, but I think the spirit of what you're sort of seeing from how we're thinking about verticalization and how we want to sort of take away from these, endless, debates and putting Hazel's team in an impossible situation of trying to adjudicate a dispute when we have no information other than tracking. I think this will make it much easier for us to sort of, deliver better expectations or experiences for all of you. And then, why else is this cool? It's cool because sneakers attracts a different demographic than maybe what you've heard from eBay in the past. This is a younger shopper. They're not used to shopping on eBay. But what we've seen from our early data is when they show up and they buy on eBay, they're discovering the rest of the platform. So we may bring them in with sneakers, but they're discovering, wow, they've got streetwear, we've got art, there's like collectibles, there's refurbished electronics. And so this has turned into a really interesting way for us to bring in customers to our platform, bring in different customers. So I know I've sort of gotten some questions from you around like, okay, well, watches, sneakers, that's cool. When does it come to my category? Like, it's coming, but I want the key message to be like a stronger eBay is better for all of you in whatever categories you sell. And when we're bringing these customers, it helps. And then if you saw the headlines in press this week, we are building momentum. We are starting to change the narrative of how eBay is positioned. And we got incredible coverage this week. Forbes, Yahoo, MarketWatch, TechCrunch. I mean, I don't think there's a channel that didn't give us coverage. And the more we can put eBay front and center out there, it kind of gives us back a little more of our mojo, both how we're perceived with customers and also our employees. Like, you hear the excitement of Bradford's voice, like that carries deep down the organization, and everybody wants to have fun. And these are things that are fun for people to work on. They're fun for us as a company. And they're actually what you, our customers, our buyers and our sellers want us to be doing. I saw one question in there, Andrea, directed to you around marketing, and hey, a year ago, you guys were running a campaign around crash sale, and are you still targeting Amazon? And the answer is like, no, like, go shop Amazon. They're a great company. Buy what you want. You need spaghetti and Tide delivered tomorrow, have at it. You want to find a vintage pair of sneakers. You want to find the most amazing Art Deco watch. Come to eBay. Like, this is where we shine. This is where all of your businesses, really come to life. So what's coming next? I saw a couple of questions on refurbished. So we are going to start to make a much clearer set of expectations for customers around certified refurbished. That's where we'll be starting. So that means working closely with the brands and with authorized sellers of the brands to make sure that the inventory is meeting the high bar the customers have. And then you'll be hearing more from us early next year around how we can better work with sellers to make sure that what the different gradations or grades of seller refurbished really looks like. So for people who are just testing electronics to make sure they're working, that's great. If someone's taking the time to bring it up to almost new in box condition, then like we want to make sure that buyers can understand those differences. Donna, I have no idea what a refurbished saddle is, but I tell you the team is willing to learn. You're just going to need to give us some time. But why is refurbished important beyond the inventory? I've talked about this before. The demographic trends are in our favor. We see 78% of shoppers, would be happy if they were given refurbished electronics. Like, 5 years ago, I don't think that was the case. Even in millennials, and for those of you who might be millennials on the call, like, nobody wanted to get something that was used, and it had to be branded. And what we see with Gen Z is the trends are actually working in eBay's favor now. It's okay to get things that are pre-owned, that are vintage. Refurbished is smart. Like buying a certified pre-owned car is a great way to save money. And we think this is an incredible, shift for us in terms of where our brand has been positioned, to actually like lean into many of the attributes that we hadn't talked about in the last 10 years, but in all candor, were the very elements upon which eBay was founded. So it's all pretty exciting. So look, there's a lot more to come. You will hear a lot more around what we're doing in verticals as we get into next year. For the next 10 weeks, I think our eyes are firmly focused on what's going on with holiday and making sure that we can drive amazing traffic, keep the site up and running, and help all of you have a great holiday season. So, thank you all, as always, for selling. And with that, I'll hand it over to Marnie, I think, for some commentary, and maybe then we jump into Q&A.
There's always some commentary, right, from me. Thank you, Jordan. Well, you know what? I think you let Andrea a little bit off the hook. I was going to her first with Philip's question on, what, do we think it's time for eBay to create its own narrative and market its strengths? I think, Jordan, you covered it, but I don't know if, Andrea, there's anything you want to share there of kind of our approach in the past versus our approach to leaning into our strengths in the future. Anything you want to add to that?
What my boss said. Definitely. I think it is a moment for us in our turn, and the right thing for us to do is to really, tell our own story. We have such amazing things to say, such amazing, unique inventory, unique reasons that are just our own reasons for why buyers come to our site, that it absolutely makes sense for us to own that and to go out with that. And I think you've seen that. I mean, you're seeing us feature inventory that is uniquely ours, whether it's trading cards or antiques, collectible inventory, but then also talk about small business and really key in on that and the value to buyers of shopping from small business, and the heritage and the authenticity that eBay has in that small business space. And so I think we really are charting our own course, and I think we'll continue to do that, and acknowledge that we're part of an ecosystem of e-commerce, but that people come to eBay for specific reasons, and we'll market to those.
Great, thank you. So I believe Harry or someone from his team is certainly in the chat and on the call. There were a few questions around item specifics. Harry, if you're there and off mute, do you want to give a quick update on what the team found and how and there is like sunlight on your, Harry, you are like a beacon of sunshine, literally.
There we go. I'll change you. Sorry. Yeah, it's late in the afternoon in the sun porch and a lot of sunshine. I mean, I was just trying to respond, and Vivian's responding to Danny's question. It's helpful if you send us the item IDs where you believe that item specifics are missing, because we really have not been able to pin this down to missing item specifics. What we think is happening, and I'll take the example of the heels category, we added new item specifics, some of which are soon to be required. One, in this case, in the heels category, we added a new item specific simply called type. And the one defined field in there is heel. All right. Now there's also heel type. And as an example, that might be stiletto. And there was a lot of sellers who saw that new item specific type and thought their existing one was replaced by that and now was missing the field. Right. So it's not the case. It's just that we've added additional item specifics, a lot with the same name, and we could argue why we've done that and so forth. That's a different topic. But in all of the current ones, many of you have written to us, right? Or on Facebook, we're in those rooms. We've looked at the item IDs that you sent us, and we don't see any of the item specifics missing. In cases where we've added department as an example, right? We're going to work. So if you're in, say, a women's category, a men's category, you're right, it should automatically fill in department as women's or men's. And if you go edit the listing, it'll actually automatically extract that and put it in, and you just update it and you're done to go, right? I mean, the listing would be updated with it filled in. So we want to work to actually do that in the background for you, because I know many of you are seeing the new column, inactive listings, right? That is showing you soon to be required in the post list world, right? We're doing that in real time. And so it's showing you a lot of recommended aspects. Again, Not all of them you necessarily need, right? But the system is going to inform you of any new ones that have come up. And again, if some of those listings haven't sold in a while, the idea is that we're notifying you can take action, you can improve the listing by incorporating these additional item specifics. All right, but if you have specific examples where you think it has disappeared, just please message us with the item ID and we will absolutely go take a look and see if anything happened. But a lot of what we've seen so far, as I said, is just new item specifics have been added that have very, very similar names. And I think that's caused a lot of the confusion.
Thank you very much, Harry. Bradford, I'm going to come over to you and put you on the spot. There was questions in, when are you going to fix search, right? Bradford, it's all on you to fix search. I know you mentioned it, certainly in your presentation, but is there anything else you can share or reiterate on kind of where we've been in our journey with search and the black box that it is versus where we're going that could maybe shed some more light?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a ton about search, I'll be honest. There's a guy named Scott Gaffney, who's my counterpart on the search side, who has really come in, and he's probably about a year into his tenure at eBay now. And he's taken a really different approach to search, which was, he's aware that it's not working everywhere and it's failing in certain places. And he's essentially said, give me some time to go and clean my house. And he has, he's really, and we're starting to see some really big wins of changes that search has made this year. Well, one recent one was benefiting our regions outside of the United States who have very different shopping habits, and their search algorithms probably should be a little bit differently, for a Russian consumer versus an American consumer, et cetera. But I think that you're going to see a big evolution starting early next year in search, and actually search is connectivity to the homepage and the view item page, which is right now when you search something, you get two things. You get a sea of listings and you get some promoted listings. And that's pretty much it. It's a grid of items. There are new thinking. I'm not going to give it all away. I'll let Scott come show it off. But how do we introduce themes of inventory and clusters of inventory, whether that's conditions, sellers, related brands, into the river of search? And so it's not just, so it's a little more dynamic than simply items. So right now, again, Scott's been really focused on just search quality. What's being returned and trying to remove irrelevant things or miscategorize things. And he's made great strides this year. But I think next year, his vision and what I've seen and what we're starting to work on is really about evolving search to be something that's, people use search to browse on eBay. About half of the intent of search on eBay is actually somebody not looking for a very specific thing. They're looking for like broader themes, like literally Star Wars. And so what should search look like when someone types in Star Wars? I don't know if I know the answer, but it's probably not just a random grid of listings. It probably is more thematic and clusters of inventory. And so you're going to start to see more of that, which I think will make search more shoppable. Another theme that I know that he's very interested on is also just personalization. So like people use search repeatedly and they gravitate towards certain filters, certain sizes, certain price points, certain countries of origin, et cetera, et cetera. And how do we start to pick up on that and remember the things I care about versus the things that Marnie cares about, and letting their search results change. But a lot of foundational work was done this year to allow us to do some more reinvention of the search experience next year.
Thank you. And I think you've just, made us decide on our next guest next time. We'll definitely have him come by and give an update on search for sure. I know we're getting close to time. A couple of things I want to mention. Lots of questions around managed payments. And so we have folks answering them now. Post this event, we'll answer whatever your questions are in the Q&A. And if you want us to reach out, if you have a specific question, please give us your contact information, your email, or email us directly, so we can answer your managed payments questions. But hopefully anybody on this call is not surprised about being migrated and onboarded to managed payments. Obviously we've been on this journey since last year, the year before, and now as we want as minimal disruption during holiday season. Obviously that's not our intent, but getting onto managed payments has been the plan all along. And the sooner you get on board, the sooner you could focus on selling for the holiday season. So please, any specific questions, send them our way. We'll definitely have managed payments come back into the next seller check-in. We try to do that every other month. And then I saw a lot of comments in there about SNADs, items not as described, and returns. And so I think it'll be a good time next time to bring the returns team, our policy and trust team back to talk a little bit about that as well. So it's great feedback in the questions, great feedback in the chat, so we could prepare accordingly for the next one, because we only have an hour. We're looking at making them longer next year, but we'll talk about that as we get into 2021. The other thing I just wanted to quickly note, there was a question or mention about USPS and if they're going to waive their fees. Not likely. They just implemented these fees for the first time, and clearly they are strapped for cash, and certainly going to be quite busy over the next few weeks, to say the least. And so, the surcharge for USPS, unfortunately, will still be in place, for all retailers, if you will, including eBay, and the negotiation, was something special for eBay with FedEx and UPS. So just want to clarify that. All right, so we are at the end of time. Again, we will, everybody vote, that's good, true. We will answer all the questions post-event, and thank you for your time. And please stick around if you have another minute to take our poll at the end, all right? I hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you for your time.